I agreed to fake being single for TikTok to help my girlfriend make money. Now she's emotionally attached to another girl. I got pushed into sexting someone else, and somehow I'm the only one being called a cheater. Did we both betray each other, or am I the villain? I'm 30 female, and I've been with my girlfriend, who's 28 female, for 3 years. Up until recently, I thought we were solid. Not perfect, but stable, committed, and building something real together. That's why everything that's happened over the last month has completely shaken me, and I don't even recognize what our relationship is anymore. About a month ago, she came to me with this idea of doing TikTok lives to make money. I immediately said no. I'm an introvert, I have pretty bad social anxiety, and the idea of going live in front of strangers, performing, interacting, putting myself out there like that, it just felt like too much. It wasn't me, but she didn't take it well. At all. She was already in a really bad place mentally and financially at the time, and when I refused, it genuinely broke her. I could see how much she was struggling, and I felt like I was letting her down when she needed me. She also framed it as something that could help me grow, get me out of my comfort zone, help me talk to people, become more confident. So eventually I gave in. Not because I wanted to, but because I didn't want to hurt her, and I thought maybe it would help both of us. From the beginning, everything about it was her idea. The setup, the strategy, even the persona. She wanted us to present a certain image to maximize views and money. That meant lying about things like my age and pretending to be single. At the time, I didn't think too deeply about it. I wasn't there to build connections or relationships. It was just a performance, a way to make money and log off. That's how I justified it to myself. When I started going live, I did get attention. Mostly from men who would flirt, ask for my number, or try to take things off the platform. I shut that down every time. It made me uncomfortable, and I had no interest in taking it further. For me, there was always a clear boundary between what I was doing online and my real life. Originally, she didn't even want to be on camera. She wanted to stay behind the scenes, managing the account, helping with strategy, while I was the face. But I convinced her to try it herself. I thought maybe it would take some of the pressure off me, and honestly, she's naturally more outgoing than I am. And she was good. Really good. She's funny, charming, confident. Everything that works perfectly for that kind of platform. She started gaining attention quickly and, eventually, making even more money than I was. At first, I was happy for her. It felt like maybe this whole thing was working. But the way she approached it was completely different from me. She leaned heavily into flirting, especially with girls, while still presenting herself as single. She would engage with people in a way that went beyond just casual interaction. People would DM her, ask for her number, and she would actually give it out. Not to everyone, but to some. And then she would keep talking to them outside of TikTok. That already made me uncomfortable, but I tried to tell myself it was part of the act, part of the business. That it didn't mean anything real. Then there's A. A is a girl she met through TikTok. From what I understand, A is straight. But my girlfriend talks about her constantly. She tells me how beautiful she thinks she is, how different she is from everyone else. At first, I didn't think much of it. People can admire others. That's normal. But then it became more. They started talking more and more until it turned into an everyday thing. Not just texting here and there, but hours of communication. First thing in the morning, last thing at night. Calls, messages, constant interaction. It got to a point where it felt like A was becoming a central part of her daily life. What really hurt me was that my girlfriend started sharing real, personal information with her. Not the fake persona we had created, but actual details about her life. Things that were supposed to be private, things that made it clear this wasn't just for show anymore. And still, she never told A about me. A knows who I am, but only as someone from TikTok. She thinks me and my girlfriend are just friends. Not partners. Not in a relationship. Just friends. That alone feels like a betrayal. But what made it even worse was something my girlfriend said to me one day. She told me that out of all the girls who show interest in her from TikTok, she doesn't really like any of them back. That they don't mean anything to her. Except for one. She said the only girl she actually likes, the only one she genuinely enjoys talking to, is unfortunately straight. She meant A. And she didn't just say it once. She's made comments like that multiple times, in different ways, but always with the same underlying message. That A is special to her. That A is different. There was another situation that really stayed with me, and I think it was one of the first times I truly felt something was off in a way I couldn't ignore anymore. One of the girls my girlfriend had been talking to FaceTimed her, and during the call, the girl flashed her. I didn't even know about it at first. She only told me days later, almost casually, like it wasn't a big deal. But what made it worse was what happened when I tried to understand it. I asked to see the chat between them, not even in an accusatory way, just because I felt uncomfortable and wanted some transparency. She immediately refused. She grabbed her phone, pulled it away from me, and said she wouldn't show me anything. Then she added that she would just delete the chat anyway because she had been entertaining it. That word stuck with me. Entertaining it. It wasn't just that something inappropriate had happened. It was that she admitted she had played along with it, and instead of reassuring me or setting a boundary, her instinct was to hide it and erase it. And somehow, even after that, she kept talking to that same girl. She even posted her on her TikTok status, fully aware that I would see it. It felt almost dismissive, like my feelings didn't even register as something worth considering. I kept trying to communicate how all of this was affecting me. I told her I felt disconnected from her. I told her I didn't like the flirting, that it crossed a line for me. I told her it bothered me how much time and energy she was giving to A, how they talked constantly while we barely spent quality time together anymore. It genuinely felt like she didn't know what was going on in my life anymore. Like I was no longer someone she checked in with or shared things with. I felt like I was slowly being replaced in her emotional world, and I didn't know how to stop it. But every time I tried to bring it up, she dismissed it. She'd say things like, "We had problems before TikTok. Why do you think TikTok is the issue?" Or, "If you're insecure, then that's on you." She'd tell me she had a lot going on in her life and couldn't deal with this on top of everything else. I understand that she does have things going on. I'm not blind to that. But it felt like everything I was saying was just being brushed aside, like my feelings were inconvenient rather than valid. And instead of reassurance, I was told to just trust her, that she knew what she was doing. At the same time, she kept pushing me to engage more too, to talk to people, to loosen up, to stop being uptight. Then last weekend, things escalated in a way I didn't expect. I was at her place and we decided to do a TikTok live together. During the stream, there was this girl, I'll call her B, who joined. My girlfriend immediately started flirting in that same playful, suggestive way she always does. She made comments like, "Aren't girls pretty?" and kept steering the conversation in that direction until it became obvious that B was into girls. Then B noticed me. She started focusing on me instead, and eventually she messaged me privately. My girlfriend encouraged it right away. She told me not to be uptight and to give her my number. I hesitated. I really didn't want to do it. It felt wrong, and honestly, I didn't even understand why she was pushing me into this. But I still did it. I don't even know why, if I'm being honest. Maybe I didn't want to argue. Maybe I thought it was just part of the act again. Maybe I just felt pressured. B came on strong almost immediately. She was very direct about liking me, about being interested. I told my girlfriend right away, like I had been doing with everything else. I said, "This girl is really into me. I don't like toying with people's feelings." But my girlfriend brushed it off again. She laughed it off, told me I was overthinking it, that I should just be human and have fun. So, I kept going. I stayed in the TikTok persona, even in private messages. I kept lying about my age, about being single. I didn't tell B that I was in a relationship. And the more I talked to her, the more intense it got. By the second day, she was already calling me baby. She was affectionate, consistent, and clearly emotionally invested. And I kept updating my girlfriend about all of it, almost like I was waiting for her to step in and say, "Okay, that's enough." But she didn't. If anything, she leaned into it. She would joke about it, even directly to B. She started calling me B's wife and referring to herself as B's in-law, like it was some kind of joke. But to B, it wasn't a joke. It reinforced the idea that something real was happening between us. And I knew that. That's the part that's hardest for me to sit with. I knew I was feeding into something that wasn't real for me, but was real for her. I knew I was letting someone develop feelings under false pretenses. And still, I didn't stop it right away. I won't lie. I did enjoy the attention. The compliments, the way she talked to me, the way she made me feel seen and wanted. It's hard to admit that, but it's true. After feeling so disconnected from my own girlfriend, having someone show that level of interest felt good. But at the same time, I felt guilty. Constantly. I knew I was doing something wrong. I knew this wasn't fair to be, and it wasn't aligned with who I actually am or what I want. I started thinking about how to end it, how to let her down gently, how to explain without hurting her too much. But I kept delaying it. It didn't stay harmless for long. What started as something I told myself was just part of the act slowly crossed into territory I knew wasn't okay. My conversations with B eventually turned into heavy flirting and then into light sexting. I won't pretend otherwise. It didn't mean anything to me emotionally. I didn't have feelings for her. I wasn't trying to build anything real, but I still knew it was wrong. Even if my intentions weren't emotional, my actions still crossed a line. That same week, I was at home for a few days before going back to my girlfriend's place for the weekend. By that point, I had been talking to B for about 6 days total. My girlfriend knew I was talking to her, but she had no idea how far it had actually gone. When I got to her place, things felt off, but also strangely normal at the same time. She was still doing what she had been doing for weeks, talking to her constantly. Hours on the phone, texting all day, completely immersed in that connection. I tried not to let it get to me, even though it clearly was. But this time, something shifted. She started showing signs that she was bothered by B. Subtle at first, but noticeable. And then, at some point, she went through my phone. She read everything. Every message, every conversation, everything between me and B. And that's when everything exploded. She confronted me immediately, and it turned into a full-blown argument. She said I had emotionally cheated on her, that I had crossed a line she couldn't forgive. She said she didn't want to be with me anymore. Hearing that completely broke me. I didn't handle it well at all. The moment she mentioned breaking up, I lost control emotionally. I panicked, I lashed out, I said things I shouldn't have said. Instead of giving her space to process what she had just found, I made everything worse by reacting the way I did. I know that. We kept fighting, going in circles, both of us hurt and angry and defensive. At some point during that fight, I brought up A. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I told her how uncomfortable I had been for weeks, how her relationship with A didn't feel like just TikTok or just friendship to me. And that's when she said things that I can't unhear. She said it makes her feel calm and good. That A is physically her type. At one point, she even said she wants to kiss her. Part of me knows she was angry and trying to hurt me back in that moment. But another part of me feels like there was truth in what she said. It didn't sound like something said purely out of spite. It sounded like something that had been building. From her perspective, though, everything she did was fine. Her argument was that I knew about it, that nothing she did was hidden, that it was all part of TikTok, part of making money. And since A is straight, she insists it's just a friendship, nothing more. She also keeps saying that her flirting is for business, that the women she flirts with send her gifts during her streams, and that's part of the strategy. I try to point out that she flirts with people who don't gift her too, that it goes beyond just business, but she shuts that down. She says at least she wasn't hiding anything, at least I could see it, and that what she did wasn't as overboard as what I did. After everything, we ended up in this strange, painful place. She says she doesn't know what to do with me. She says she loves me and doesn't want to break up, but at the same time, she doesn't know if she can forgive me. She doesn't know if she can look at me the same way again. And I understand why. I betrayed her trust in a very real way. Even if I felt pushed into the situation, even if the boundaries were already blurred, I still made choices. I still went along with something I knew wasn't right. But at the same time, I can't ignore everything that led up to it. The constant flirting, the emotional closeness with A, the dismissal of my feelings, the way I was encouraged to engage with people and then blamed when it crossed a line. The way everything was framed as normal or for business until suddenly my actions were labeled as betrayal. Now I feel completely lost. I don't know what's reasonable anymore. I don't know where the line actually is because it feels like it kept moving depending on the situation. I don't know how to take full accountability for what I did while also acknowledging that the situation itself was already unhealthy and confusing long before I crossed that final line. I know I messed up. I really do. But I also feel like we were both standing in a space where boundaries didn't exist anymore, and now I'm the only one being held accountable for what happened inside that space. And I don't know how to fix that, or if it even can be fixed.